I had only two things on my mind: cheese and how to get home. All around me, people danced and sang to the drunken groove of the village baker, laying his soul down on his trusty lute, while his wife backed him up with her flute. Drums beat to the rhythm of stomping feet as the village came alive with the Heroes' Call Festival. It had been a long time since the goddess Maeva called upon one of us lowly humans to join the never-ending battle against the monsters trapped behind Valsaw Gate. As if by some evil clockwork, the gate would weaken every 15 years. Every manner of myths and monsters would flood through its passage and wreak havoc from our glittering coasts to the deep, harsh mountains of the north, where only the maddest of men lived. None of that, however, was why we were celebrating. No, the reason for our village-wide riot was the fact that we would finally be rid of that uppity brat that was chosen. Priscilla was a fine girl, if a little full of herself, until her face appeared in the sacred chalice during the great calling. Each time the Valsaw gates open, the goddess will shine a light into each of her 4 temples, to call forth her chosen heroes to fight back the demons and close the gate once more. A high honor, to be sure, but everyone loved to conveniently ignore the minor issue of our heroes not always coming back. It was an honor that I had no desire to be a part of. I was fine with letting Priscilla and those other fools go off and die. I'll stick to selling my spices, thank you very much. My self-preserving habits made me a bit of an outlier with the other girls in town. Who wouldn't want to go off on a grand adventure with a bunch of hot heroes also chosen by the goddess? Me, bitches? No, thank you. Biceps are nice, but so is not having my guts eaten by an orc. But the promise of finding love with a handsome hero from another village was more than enough incentive to get many women praying for the day they'd be chosen as Maeva's lucky winner. Maybe we all just grew up reading too many fairy tales. Priscilla was one of them. Soon after the chipper blonde was presented with her new role, no one could hear the end of her bragging until it was time to kick her ass out of the village, sword in hand. Bye. The image brought a sting of memory of my ex leaving town for similar reasons. My lack of desire to be eaten by orcs was a turnoff, and the bastard needed a more adventurous woman. Weeks of crying later, a dear friend came over to slap me out of my sad girl routine to remind me that he ain't shit. Who needs him? Or any man? Love was for people with not enough wine in their hands. With an equilibrium entirely hampered by my love of wine, I stumbled out of the dancing crowd into the food stalls in my daring quest for more cheese. My trusted nose locked on the smell of aged cheddar, and the race was on. With a mighty step over a passed-out blacksmith, followed by a not-so-graceful stumble past empty wine bottles, I found myself at the glorious cheese stall, owned by my best friend and cheesemaker, Brie. Brilliant name for a cheesemaker, I know. Her mother thought herself widely clever for that one. "Brie," I hollered over the music, slumping my body over the counter. "Brie, my goddess of cheese, bring me that sweet, sweet Gouda." The tarp leading to the back room of the stall opened, revealing my amused friend. Her light pink hair flitted loosely past her shoulders, and she stuck her hands on her hips. Her pink locks sent my mind into a stupor, until I realized we had agreed to dye our hair pink this morning. "Cinnamon hot pepper, you are drunk as a skunk." Okay, so maybe my mom thought she was terribly clever with names as well. "You look like you dunked your head in a pile of snapdragon," I laughed, eyeing her hair. She wiped her hands on her apron and fixed me with a glare. "Says the woman who came up with this brilliant idea. What was it you said, oh wise one? Let's dye our hair pink now that the goddess finally chose her sacrificial lamb."